Ngosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyisu phondo lwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu, Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo, murena buluka sichaba sa Yesu, ufedise dintwali matwenye, usibuluke, usibuluke, sichabasa, Yesu, sichabasa, South Africa, South Africa, eighty blow fanon seyemel, eighty deep defanon siye, warren siye vechechepertes, wat die kranse aanvorgeef. Sounds they call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Good morning again. My name is Nolita Ntobongwana.
Thobela, lina laka ke Noluntu Thobakana.
Nolita,
Nolita, sorry.
thank you. I am the chairperson of Public Works and Infrastructure
Ke modula-
Portfolio Committee.
ke modula- ke chairperson ya Public and Infrastructure
In the National Assembly.
in the National Assembly.
I'm here with the members of the Portfolio Committee.
Ke mo ke le maloko a portfolio.
We will start by them introducing themselves. We'll start at the far right.
Re tla thoma ka gore bona ba itsebishe, go thoma ka letsogong la Nyele. La go ja, sorry.
Good morning, everybody.
Ke a le dumediša ka moka.
My name is Samantha Gray Murray.
Leina la ka ke Samantha Gramere.
I am a Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament,
Ke nna modulasetulo wa DA.
and I am from the Eastern Cape, a town called Graaff-Reinet or Ikhafu.
Ke tswa Eastern Cape, pleke e bitswang Graaf-Reinet.
Good morning, everybody.
Dumelang ka moka.
My name is Madeleine Hicklin.
Leina la ka ke,
Madeleine Hicklin.
okay, ke lona lewe.
I'm also a Democratic Alliance Member of Parliament,
Le nna ke modulasetulo wa DA wa parlamenteng.
and I hail from Midrand in Gauteng.
Ke dula Midrand go la Gauteng.
Thobela ka moka yo bolela mo ke Mathapelo Siwisa go tswa ko lekokong la EFF ke tlhaga ke le ko Kimberley Northern Cape ke member ya parliament.
Sanwanani,
Ke a le dumediša.
igama lami Elphas waka Mathebula.
Lebitso la ka ke Alpheus Mathebula,
ke lilunga le parliament
ke leloko la palamente,
ngibuya eHenrina kwaZamokuhle.
ke bua
Ngibuya eHenrina kwaZamokuhle in Mpumalanga.
ke tswa Mpumalanga,
Ngimele i-African National Congress, the People's Organization.
ke emetse
you.
mokgatlo wa ANC.
Good morning, Sanbonani. My name is Wayne Thring.
Ke a le dumedisa, leina la ka ke Winfrey,
I am from KwaZulu-Natal.
ke tswa KwaZulu-Natal,
I represent the African Christian Democratic Party,
ke emetse African Christian Party,
currently serving on the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee in the National Assembly.
ke berekela public infrastructure.
Good morning, everyone.
Ke a le dumedisa ka moka,
I'm Sharon van Skalbeek.
ke nna Sharon Skyfrek,
I'm the Member of Parliament
ke nna leloko la palamente,
representing the ANC,
ke emetse ANC,
and I'm originally from Uppington in the Northern Cape.
ke tswa Appington, ka
Thank you.
Northwest,
Northern Cape.
Northern Cape, sorry.
Sanbonani,
Ke a le dumedisa,
Gama Ulindiwe Mjobo.
ke Thoko, ke nna Thoko, sorry.
Igama Ulindiwe Mjobo, ngisuka
Oh, leina
kwaZ-
la ka ke Lindiwe Thoko,
ngisuka KwaZulu Natal,
ke tswa KwaZulu-Natal,
ililunga leParlamente,
ke leloko la palamente,
ngithunywe yi-African National Congress.
ke romilwe ke African National Congress.
Let me state this outright. I suspect we have a challenge of our interpreters. I may not know Sepedi, but I understand when someone is not interpreting what is being said. So we sincerely apologize for that to all those that may not hear exactly what we are saying. We really, really do so.
Ke kgopela tshwarelo, o ka re re na le bothata ba ditoloki tša rena, le ke sa tsebe Sepedi mare ke bona o ka re re na le bothata, ka gona ke kgopela tshwarelo go bao e leng gore ba ka no ba ba sa kwe gore go tlo ba go bolelwa go reng.
Amongst us, we have the leadership of the municipality,
Mo gare ga rena re na le moemedi wa go tswa masepaleng,
the mayor of Modimele, I don't know whether it's Modimele municipality, I can't pronounce that name clearly. It's Mayor Malin van Staden, she's among us.
mo go rena re na le meyara,
We have Speaker
re na le seboledi,
Dingan Mutswene.
Tingane Motsweni,
We have Chief Whip
re na le chief whip,
Hercules Low. We also have amongst us
gape mo gare ga rena re na le
Marcel Maritz, who is an MPL for the Freedom Front Plus.
wa Freedom Front MPL ya rena,
We have Desiree van der Walt, who is our colleague from National Assembly.
re na le Desiree van der Walt.
We will also introduce the leaders of the political parties that are amongst us when we have got all their names, but we will do so.
Re tlo ba re tsebiša gape le ba bangwe ba mekgatlo ya go fapana ge e le gore ba tla be ba le gona go la re hweditše maina a bona.
We have invited all the civil organizations, the stakeholders of this region,
Re memile gape maloko a civil organization mo gare ga rena,
the chiefs and traditional councils, if we have them in this area,
magoši a rena ka moka, le ona a gona,
the organized labor unions,
ba di-labor unions
and all the political parties.
le mekgatlo ka moka.
We have even invited the organized civil organizations
Gape re memile le ba civil organization
to be part of this meeting.
gore ba be le rena mo kopanong ye.
We gathered here together
Re kopane mo lekgong
to hear from you
go kwa go tšwa go lena
on the views of the Expropriation Bill 23 of 2020.
go kwa dipono tša lena mabapi le kamogo,
A bill that has been formulated by Public Works and Infrastructure
molaokakanywa o dirilego ke ba public work and infrastructure
and sent to Parliament,
and the parliament.
and the Speaker then referred that bill to us as this portfolio committee.
Molaokakanywa o e leng gore o tlišitšwe go rena bjalo ka komiti.
Then we had to follow some process.
Re ile ra dira gore re latele melao ye mengwe.
The first process
Molao wa mathomo
was to invite written submissions
ebile wa go mema ba go patela tax, bapatedi ba tax
from the public to comment on the bill.
ba go tšwa setšhabeng gore ba bolele ka molaokakanywa o.
The second phase was to hold a virtual meeting
Legato la bobedi ebile go tshwara kopano yeo e leng gore e diretšwe ka mokgwa wa visual,
and in that meeting we were receiving oral submissions
mo e leng gore be re hwetša dipono ka mokgwa wa go bolelwa
from organizations and individuals.
go tšwa mekgatlong le di-organization tša go fapana,
Who were also commenting on the bill,
ba ile ba boledišana ka tšona molaokakanywa o.
a process which we have not yet finished.
Molaokakanywa o e leng gore ga se wa fetšwa,
We will finalize it in June after this public hearing.
re tlo o fetša ka ona ka June ka morago ga public hearing ye.
And today we are here
Le kone re moki
to hear your views on this bill.
go kwa dikakanyo tša lena mabapi le molaokakanywa o.
This bill has been formulated
Molaokakanywa o dirilwe
to seek to repeal
go nyaka go tseba
Act number 63 of 1975,
molao wa 65
which
molao wa 63
of 1975,
wa 1975
which was formulated by the then apartheid government
o ile gore o ile wa dirwa ke ba molao o fitile
To
ke ba wa apartheid
to expropriate land for public use and public interest.
go tšea lefase ka kgang.
We are here to hear your views because that act has to be repealed.
Re tlile mo go tla go kwa dillo tša lena gore molao o o fetošwe
Because that act predates even our constitution.
gobane molao o gatelela constitution ya rena.
For example,
Go tšea mohlala
in that act,
mo molaong oe
we talk about expropriating land
re bolela
with
ka
the
go tšewa
market value.
re bolela ka go tšewa ga kgang ga naga,
And the constitution of this country that was adopted in 1996
ka go molao o e leng gore o ile wa tšewa ka 1966
1996,
ka 1996
it talks about just and equitable.
o bolela ka yona tsela eo.
So we have to change those laws.
Ka gona re swanetše re fetole melao yewe.
We are then here to hear from you.
Re mo ke go tla go kwa go lena
How should we go about changing that act?
ka gore re swanetse re fetole jwang molao oo.
Secondly,
La bobedi,
there are no national standards
ga go na le maemo tumelelo a
of
setšhaba
expropriating land for public use
ka go tšea molao ka kgang go
by expropriating authorities,
ka go gatelela bao ba leng godimo,
which are municipalities
bao e leng gore ke ba masepala
and some departments.
le ba dikgoro tše dingwe.
This bill that we're bringing to you
Molaokakanywa o re o tlišang go rena
also seeks to have a national standard
o nyaka go ba le maemo tumelelo a setšhaba
of expropriating land for public use.
ka go tšea molao ka kgang
You-
ka go tšea lefatshe ka kgang gore o šomišwe le šomišwe.
You are therefore all welcome.
Ka gona le amogetšwe ka moka.
We have been joined
Re na le
by our colleagues
baberekišani ba ka
from the National Assembly.
ba go tšwa National Assembly.
Can you please, honorable members, come to this side?
Bahlomphegi le ka tla ka mo
Those that are from National Assembly.
bao ba tšwa go National Assembly.
It's Honorable Ntlangwini, Natasha Ntlangwini from the EFF. Honorable Sam Matthias, also from the EFF. Honorable Kosim Konto from the EFF. We have Honorable Tinyiko Mangene, who is an MPL here in Limpopo. Honorable George Rapella or Rafella, who is also an MPL in the provincial legislature. Honorable Charles Moshala, who is also an MPL. The leadership of the political parties, I am going to introduce them after this first round that we're going to take. What
Baemedi ya
to-
mekgatlo ya go fapana re tla ba tsebiša ge re fetša ka kopano ya lerato la mathomo.
Okay, what we are going to do,
Seo re tlile go se dira,
we're going to take 10
re tlo tšea-
hands
re tlo fana sebaka
that are going to speak on the bill.
mo re tlile go bolela ka molaokakanywa.
We will take, we'll start on the far right.
Re tla thoma ka letsogong la go ja. La Nyele, sorry.
The first 3 rows on the far right.
Mo dilo tše tharo, mo di-lineng tše tharo.
Please note, you are only given 3 minutes to speak,
Re kgopela le lemogeng gore le filwe metsotso e meraro fela go ka bolela.
but please introduce yourself
Empe re kgopela gore le itsebišeng
and tell us which organization, whether it's a political party, a civil organization, a traditional council, or you just coming as an individual.
gape o laetše gore o tšwa mokgatlong o mofe e ka ba wa kereke e ka ba wa setšhaba goba o ikemetse
and present your view.
and o fe pono ya gago.
Let's start then on that side.
A re thomeng ka kua lehlakoreng lela.
Or can you please put on your mask? The reason my mask is not on is because I have an interpreter here and sign language. And also there are some of our community that can hear clearly, but they read the lips as the camera is in front of me. So that's why I have to take out your mask. Can you then please put on your mask?
Re kgopela le apareng mask ya lena, lebaka la gore nna ke se ka apara mask ka baka la gore go na le toloki ya sign language yeo e lego gore ba bangwe ba go bolela polelo ye ke ba kgona go bona fela ge melomo e tsamaya.
Okay, thank you.
Ra
Eh,
leboga.
yeah, you are number 1.
Wa mathomo,
I'm on those 3 rows. Number 2 by the door. Oh, number 2. Tate? Yes, number 2. Number 3, yes. I'm still in those first 3 rows. Okay, number 4, there, yeah. Number 5, yeah, white t-shirt. Okay, let's come to the 4th row because we need to have 10. There was a hand at the back. Yeah, you are number 6. Please come. Number 7, yes. Number 8. You are number 8. Go to the chairs. Once I've pointed you must go to the chairs. You must note this. If we've passed those rows, we're not going to point someone again on those rows. We're moving to other rows. So how many do we have now? 8, 10. It's 10. It's 8. We need 2 more to make it 10. Okay, we are in this row now. We are in this row. Okay, yes, number 9. And the lady number 10. Thank you. We are, okay. You are allowed to speak in any of the 11 official languages. You are allowed to speak in any of the 11 official languages. We do have people that will try to interpret what you are saying. And the ground rules are, when anyone is speaking, we all keep quiet. We are using timers. Once you have exceeded your 3 minutes, we indicate that you have exceeded your 3 minutes, so your time is up.
Honourable Chairperson, I'm Deirdre Carter, the CEO of Agri Limpopo, a federation of farmers associations located across Limpopo. I represent some 410 commercial farming operations in Limpopo, providing some 90,000 employment opportunities. Commercial agriculture in Limpopo plays a strategic role in ensuring food security in South Africa. And in respect of agriculture, it is the 2nd largest province, contributing to local, provincial, and national economic growth, development, and export earning imperatives. The Expropriation Bill, Restitution and Transformation, we acknowledge the need to replace the current Expropriation Act, which you said dates back to 1975, with an act that is aligned to the prescripts of our Constitution and those enshrined in our Bill of Rights. We support the orderly and responsible process of land reform. We believe that the past injustices must be dealt with through positive, future solution-driven solutions. And we are on record pledging to make a positive contribution to finding rational and progressive solutions and working with government and society in their meaningful realization. There is no denying that we face a growing national crisis in the form of the triple challenges of inequality, poverty, and unemployment, and more so in our rural areas. They threaten the very fabric upon which our social, constitutional, and democratic meaningfully order are founded. It is only through economic growth and development that these challenges can be meaningfully addressed. We acknowledge the need to replace the current Expropriation Act, but we cannot support the inclusion of a possibility of null compensation. Today's farmers cannot be held solely responsible for the historical events and cannot be required to bear the burden of addressing apartheid dispossession disproportionately. It is a collective responsibility. perspective wanting to introduce the expropriation of land with no compensation is unjust at the best of times and irrational and irresponsible at a time when our country is crying out for investment, economic growth, job creation, poverty alleviation, and the creation of a just and equitable society. As Agri Limpopo, we do not support the inclusion of clauses 12.3 and 12.4 in the latest version of the bill, which provide for nil compensation. The current definition of expropriation in the bill, the current definition of public interest in the bill, the current definition of public purpose in the bill. We believe that where compensation is justified, it should be perceived by all to be a fair and transparent process. Safeguards should be in place to prevent the misuse of power. Landowners should receive prompt, adequate, and effective compensation which will allow them to start anew. They should not be worse off as a result of expropriation, and the full cost of expropriation should be borne by the fiscus. As a consequence, Agri Limpopo and our members, of which I said we've got 410 commercial farmers with some 90,000 employees, cannot support the draft expropriation bill in its current form. I thank you.
Oh, I told this girl I'm going to speak English and Afrikaans. I mix it like that, you see. Listen, I'm Frans Simon. I'm a retired medical practitioner. You can simply call me, you can see I'm old. Call me Frans, as simple as that. Nothing less or nothing more. And I'm here I want you to realize that you must maybe approach your whole attitude from a different point. That is why I'm here, sir, if you don't mind. You're a chief. First of all, I want to say, I'm very much in favor. Take the farms, take the productive farms, and give it to these people. Can I ask you something? Is there any farm laborer here? No farm laborers here. No. Now, why ask that? I need a couple of farm laborers. I can. All right. Can I carry on? What I want to say is the following, namely that give the farms to the people. No problem with that, as long as they can produce what a farmer used to produce. If they don't produce, get rid of him there. But the farmer must have a say in the new farmer who's going to take his farm. All right. Then, you know what? Because he has no farm laborer here, all these people here, I'm sorry to say what I'm going to say now. I'm sorry to say that.
Apology. No, listen, members and audience. Can you please calm down? Can you please calm down? Can you please calm down? Comrade. Ask Comrade Soviet to sit down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can you please sit down? Can you please sit down? I think we must again state the ground rules. Everyone who is here has been invited by the portfolio committee. And as such,
Re kgopela ka moka,
We-
le tsebeng gore ba ba leng ka mo ke ba memilwe. Ka gona re swanetše go hlomphana.
we are the ones who are seeking your views.
Ke rena bao re nyakago dikakanyo tša lena.
No one then
Ka gona,
in the audience that we have invited here
ga gona lo a lego moe, o e leng gore re mo memile,
has the right to belittle
a nago le tokelo ya go
or
nyenyefatša,
address the audience.
goba go bolela le setšhaba.
You have to address us
O swanetše o bolele le rena,
because we are the ones who want your views in the
Gobane-
bill.
gobane ke rena re nyakago dikakanyo tša lena re le mmoki.
So what has been done by Mr. Francois
Ka gona seo se dirilego ke
was
Mr. Francois,
totally wrong.
ka gona se be se molaong.
Mr. Francois,
Mr. Francois,
if you want to raise your views,
ge o nyaka go ntšha dikakanyo tša gago,
raise them to us,
di tliše go rena,
not to the audience.
e sego go setšhaba.
And also,
Ka gona,
yesterday there was an incident that
maabane
the,
go bile le se sengwe,
that the honorable members raised to me after it has happened.
ka seo ba se buletšego morago ga gore se tlhage.
One of the members of the audience
O mongwe wa leloko la lena la setšhaba
insulted some of us here.
o ile a re tlhapaola
We
rena re
are
lego
not
moo.
going to accept that.
Ka gona re ka se se dumelele
You
seo,
present your view
o tliša dikakanyo
and
tša
then you
gago,
go and sit down.
wa fetša wa ya go dula fase.
Can we respect each other?
Re ka kgona go hlomphana,
Can we respect each other?
re ka kgona go hlomphana,
Can we respect each other?
re ka kgona go hlomphana.
Thank you.
Ke a le leboga.
Just before the speaker, we would like to acknowledge our members of the royal councils and traditional leaders that are here with us. Kgoshi Libello. No, where I'm coming from, the chiefs don't stand up. You can just raise your hand, sir. Kgosi Langa and Kgosi
Ba kgoši,
Tautsa. I'm sorry.
Tautswala,
Yeah, thank you. And Kgoshi Mahlangu.
le kgoši Mahlangu,
Thank you,
a re ba amogeleng. Ke a le
members
leboga.
of the traditional councils
Ke a le-
to
le-
grace our event today.
re leboga ba
We-
bogoši ge ba tlile
we're
mo ke go tla go ba le
looking-
rena.
We're looking forward to hear your views on this bill.
Re
Thank
emetše go
you.
kwa tšeo le di tshwerego. Ke a leboga.
Yeah. Thanks. My name is George Rapela, a member of the provincial legislature, but also a member of the Economic Freedom Fight. No, my submission is that maybe first I was going to start by asking questions. Why are you here? And for what are you coming for? Because of this process, we have started it before. We have went through this process almost twice of changing the Constitution, Section 25, but we're here again. And we see that as a waste of resources and by Parliament. So that's why we're saying that, why are you here? And we're not supposed to start this. In fact, what we're supposed to tell us here is that we have changed the Constitution, Section 25, and then how are we then starting the other processes, but we are still doing the very same thing concurrently with the others. So that is our, my submission. But the other thing is that we support, we want the expropriation of expropriation bill and the change of the constitution, section 25. But the other thing is that we want to remind other people that this process is not for the first time, as the other speakers have correctly said that it was done before, expropriation of land to the state, but they benefited. So now we don't want to benefit, we want to change and redress what happened from the past. So we should not be somewhere, so let's allow this process to go in and all, but also we're saying that Parliament must go back and go do what is expected from them. Change the constitution, section 25, wanted expropriation of compensation without, expropriation of land without compensation. That's what we want. That's what we need you to tell us when we come back. So we don't want to repeat the process. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chair. My name is Rasi Mayepa. I'm from the EFF. I'm the Regional Secretary. Chairperson, we do not know and understand why Parliament is spending on this process when there is a process to amend the Constitution. And then after amending the Constitution, this committee must bring as a legislation and this committee must bring a legislation informed by the Constitution. The EFF has made submissions in 2 Parliament public hearings on the land question, and we told members of Parliament to go and amend the Constitution to allow for expropriation of all land without compensation into the custody of the state. We are concerned that the expropriation bill that you want us to make inputs on is legislation that must tell us now that the Constitution allows for expropriation of all land without compensation. This is how the state is going to expropriate land. This is how the land is going to be distributed or to everyone equally, and this is how to use the land going forward in a protected way. But since you are here, you must know that our position remains the same. We want all land to be expropriated without compensation. This is the only way we will address colonial land dispossessions and the legacy of apartheid. We did not give Parliament a mandate to find ways to pay for land that was stolen. Our land is not a commodity and should not be for sale. The expropriation bill is an unnecessary distraction, and we see it as a way to hijack the real struggle of black people and will not solve the challenges of the land. The money that is available to pay for the land must be given to small-scale farmers. Black people in South Africa need their land to farm, build houses, build businesses, and the expropriation bill is not going to help us in doing any of this. No legislation is above the Constitution, and we therefore submit that the expropriation of land without compensation must happen and must happen immediately. Thank you very much.
Thobela.
Morning.
Ke nna Jimmy Kekana,
I am Jimmy Kekana,
wa lekgotla la EFF.
the member of the EFF.
Botse taba ya ho notla, re notla mo. Re tlo
Actually,
senya ditjhelete mo. ka o no tlisha mekgwana-kgwana ye ya hore re tlo nna re tshwara dilo tša issue ya land.
Actually, this matter of us coming here
E
and
re
wasting our
senyetša
money
nako
to
mo.
bring the issues of the land.
Rena re nyaka lefatshe,
We want the land
ene re nyaka e direge gona jwale.
and we want it now.
A re sa nyaka go ema nako e telele,
We don't want to wait for a long time
ka re palamente e tšhaba makgowa.
because the parliament is afraid of the white people.
He ka be palamente e sa tšhabe makgowa,
If the parliament was not afraid of the white people,
le tla be amendile this thing kgale.
it should have amended this thing for a long time.
Jwale because they are bosses, ke batho ba bašweu.
Because their bosses are the white people,
That is why ba e tšhaba.
that is why they are afraid of it.
Le senya tšhelete ya setšhaba gona
You
mo.
are wasting people's money.
You
the
are
community's
eating all
money.
our money.
You are wasting our money.
That is why le bona bašimane ba makgowa ba re talela.
That's why the young white boys,
Ba tla mo ba re insulta because ba tseba gore parliament is useless.
they come here and insult us because they know parliament is useless.
They are killing on our people because ba ka se tlile ba tshwerwe ka re ke ba bašweu.
They are killing our people because they know they won't be arrested because they are white.
Le re kgopela re nyaka go hlwa re senya nako.
We were asking, we don't want to
Re
waste
nyaka
time.
re amend this constitution now.
We want to amend the constitution now.
Batho ba bo rena kwa ba tlhoka madulo.
Our people there, they don't have a place to stay.
White people are comfortable,
White people are comfortable.
while our people they are sitting in the shack. E le batho ba ba 10 ka gare.
While there are 10 people in.
Jwale ke kgopela le tlohele mokgwa o tšhaba makgowa, le amending this constitution e thome right now.
So please leave this thing of yours that you are afraid of white people and amend this constitution
Ene
now.
re roma parlamento re tlohele mokgwa o tšhaba makgowa ka gore ba nnetše gore insulta mo pela lena ba re roga ba bola batho ba rena re a le roma le gona jwale gore re nyako bona makgowa a thoma o tshwarwa le ge o ne le di-strike
We don't
makgowa a
want this
tshwarwe.
thing of yours that you leave the white people who come and insult us while you're watching and you're saying nothing about it.
Time up.
Tobela, wa bolela mo ke Tumelo. My name is Tumelo.
Good morning, who's speaking here is Tumelo.
I'm from Ward 6 in Mudimolle.
I'm from White City in Mulimulle.
I'm a secretary of the branch of the DA. I'm here to speak in this. I'm not in support with the repealing of Section 25 because this section, it will affect our economy. We already seen this happening at Zimbabwe, our neighboring country. Zimbabwe now has become the worst performing government in SADC and also in Africa. This section, it will not work because this section, it will also create unemployment rate. We have seen in South Africa, we have higher rate of unemployment. The youth are not working, and then this type of bill is the one that will create our economy to bleed. I'm in support of private property ownership because the real estate create more jobs in South Africa. And the real estate private ownership should be supported because it's the one that provide more income to our economy and our GDP. This expropriation bill, it should be put aside because it will not support majority of the people, the dejected masses of South Africa. South Africa, as we speak, is not performing. We've seen 2 recessions in the same year. So this expropriation bill, we must look thoroughly before we are amending this bill because South Africa was once one of the powerful countries that was producing gold. South Africa, it has good nutrients underground, and South Africa, it has good climate. So if we focus on this kind of bills, South Africa will not go. We should focus on developing our educational system. Educational system of South Africa now is poor. because we focus on things that do not produce on our GDP. We should focus on amending changing our educational system, because majority of our citizens, after achieving the matric, they live at home, they are not working. So if we can focus on changing our educational system, many South Africans will have access to jobs, and then many South Africans will have access to more knowledge. We should provide like basic law in educational system. We should provide entrepreneurial skill on basic education. We should provide a system like construction management on basic education. Those kind of bills are the ones that we should talk about today, not this bill that will benefit majority, the elite, the black elite, who think that they are the ones who are more important than other elite people of South Africa. South Africa is one of the most poor.
My name is Dina Munama. Okay. My name is Dina Munama, an EFF member. Chairperson, we made our submission as EFF into Parliament public hearing on the land question. And we told members of Parliament to go and amend the Constitution of allow for expropriation of land without compensation into the custody of the state. Chairperson, as Kele Musad, amending this section.
Apologies. The last person that we have pointed to, the last person that we only take 10, please, members of our communities, we will ensure that all those that want to speak will speak, but respect that we have chosen people to speak. So you don't move from your seat and then get onto the line when you have not been pointed to. Can you please respect that? Thank you.
Chairperson, ask Musad, we have a problem with the land. Some of our women are abusing in the land, in the farm. Because of the white people who have the farm, they abuse our sisters, our mothers. They make a slavery because they give them the less money. They don't give them the money that they deserve, according to the Labor Gazette. So, person, I'm asking you, Rea Hopela, Nkele kweleng batho ba so botlhoko gobane ke rena batho ba so re kwang botlhoko because land ka bontsi e tshware ke batho ba bashweu re a gopela a ebe freedom e be ka mogwe tshwanetseng ka ona. There is no freedom without the land. Thank you.
As a woman, there are a lot of women that are abused, and we ask you for people to plead with us and hear our cries.
Thank you very much. My name is Roni. My surname is Manyama. I'm a PR councillor at Tabazimbi local municipality from the Democratic Alliance, from the DA. Today, I would like to address two things in relation to the bill. First, I would like, under application of the Act, Section 2, Subsection 2. Subsection 2 reads that despite the provision of any law to the contrary, an expropriation authority may not be expropriated, may not expropriate the property of a state-owned corporation or a state-owned entity without the concurrence of the executive authority responsible for that corporation or entity. Therefore, the provision of this act allows that government to refuse to accede to expropriation, whereas private individuals are not afforded this same right. Isn't it that we are saying this is the government of the people, by the people? Therefore, why are the people not afforded the very same right? I'm saying it cannot be correct that in this constitutional democracy such as ours, in this time, it can't be correct that or acceptable that this right of individuals are less than that of government, because the government will rule or will overrule on the right of the individuals, whereas those individuals, they still bear the very same right to vote. So there must be equal rights and balance between the government and the citizens or the individuals. Therefore, I request the committee, I humbly request the committee to go relook into this section 2, subsection 2, and revise it so that it balances the right of government as compared to right of individuals. Allow me to also go again on the very same bill to section 12, subsection 3C. This section, it deals about the land that is not used for a certain period, I don't know. So therefore, the bill, it's not clear how it defines the land that is not used. How do we then compare?
Your time is up.
Thank you, Chairperson and honourable members. My name is Marlene de Villiers and I'm representing the Business Chamber and Freedom Front Plus. It is expected that a primary motive behind the concept of expropriation without compensation, I will refer to this as EWC in the rest of the presentation, relates to unfair distribution of land ownership in South Africa. The advocates promoting this concept rely on inter alia the following justifications. The land was stolen from its rightful owners and must be returned to its rightful owners. The inequalities of the past which deprived black people from owning land must be addressed with which necessitates the redistribution of land amongst the majority of people. And the majority of the people were excluded from the agricultural economy in South Africa, which needs to be rectified. The Chamber does not intend to venture into the ideology behind EWC, since substantial opposite historical views are being held by different communities, and it will serve no purpose that one community attempts to convince the other which view is correct or not. The Chamber does acknowledge that black people were excluded to participate in the commercial agricultural sector because of previous discriminatory laws. Non-white people were barred from acquiring title in land also because of discriminatory laws. Under the colonial and apartheid dispensation, a philosophy was applied to retain the communal custody ownership system under the chiefman authority within the traditions of African communities, which traditions are still being practiced in the former TBVC states and self-governing areas such as KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape. The result of the above was still is that land occupiers were denied acquiring ownership title in land which denied them access to capital and property security to gain access to capital, and the ultimate result was that farmers within African communities were deprived to participate in a continuous scientific expansion of farming practices, primarily not being able to access capital for farming investments. Now, the objective of amendment, the total land area of South Africa is approximately 121.9 million hectares. The total land used for commercial agriculture is estimated at 46.4 million hectares, consisting of 40,000 property units in private ownership. 18 million hectares owned by the government are used as communal land in the so-called traditional parts of the country under the custody of traditional leaders. 1/3 of the land surface of South Africa, plus minus 40 million hectares, consists of the Karoo semi-desert, which is barely suitable for inhabitants. Finally, approximately 12% of the land surface area, that's plus minus 1.8 million hectares, is state-owned as nature reserves. Since the land in custody of traditional leaders,
Time is up.
Thank you, Chairperson. Ke kwa botlhoko kudu. E ke bona, I'm in the same committee which we attended last time. It's the same issue ya land. Busy wasting our resources. I mean, us as students, we are being told or government doesn't have money to fund us to fund our education. Yet, here's the same, here's the same parliament coming in here, wasting the very same resource, like, as students, and then, again, Chairperson, the EFF made 2 submissions into, parliamenting to tell you or go and amend Section 25 to allow expropriation of land without compensation. It's going to bring the dignity of a black person. If we don't amend Section 25 of the Constitution, white people are going to continue disrespecting us, because without land, there's no dignity. That's why you saw the beneficiary of apartheid coming on the very same mic to tell the very same committee what he said. So, Chairperson, and then I want to warn that Minister Edelilo not to take chances about this bill. We don't want this bill. We want the amendment of Section 25 to allow expropriation of land without compensation, so that I can own land. I can have something to put on the table. Every time there is public hearing, we must go and attend to speak the same thing. Go and amend the section. Now let's talk about the bill, and then there's a bill it is being presented by old minister whose term is supposed to be somewhere looking after cattle. Creating giving parliament more job. It is very simple to amend the constitution. Very simple. You just go and write. Land cannot be a commodity. I cannot buy land. It can't be. I cannot go buy a land which belongs to my grandfathers, which belongs to my ancestors, which was taken by genocide. And then I want to warn you, Parliament, as a youth of this country, no, this 3 minutes is small. It's too small, this 3 minutes.
As young as I am, I feel sad that seeing the same community with the same conditions. Now white people has taken our land. Now we still pay our own fees, which is sad.
Re feditše ka line la mathomo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Apologies. We are down with row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4.
Re feditše ka line ya mathomo ya bobedi, ya boraro le ya bone.
We are starting in this row now.
Re
Eh,
thoma
the
ka
one
line
here.
le khibjalo.
Can you then please raise your hands?
Le ka emiša
We're
matsogo a
going to
lena.
take row 1, row 2, row 3.
Re tlo tšea row ya mathomo le ya bobedi.
Then we take 10 people at
Le
a
ka
time.
emiša matsogo a lena, re tlo tšea batho ba lesome.
Thank you.
Ke a leboga.
You are number 1.
Wa mathomo.
Number
Pedi.
Number 3.
Wa boraro.
Yes. Number 4, the gray t-shirt. Yes.
Wa bone wa t-shirt e tala.
Number 5.
Wa bohlano.
Number 6. In the absence of any hands in this row, we come
Ka-
into this one now.
Ka ge go se ne ba bangwe, di tla le-
Anyone
le
here?
ba.
No. Okay. We need 10.
Re nyaka
We
ba
are here
lesome.
now. Going to be number 7.
O tlo ba bošupa.
Remember, we said we are through with those rows. We
Gopolang gore le re
ask people
feditše
to
ka
raise their
line la ka
hands.
kua.
Number 8, we are here now.
Wa bosenyane.
We need 2 more to make 10. Number 9, yes. Can you check how many do we have now?
Kgopela le be le gore ke ba ba
Okay,
kae.
number 10. Yes. We're going to allow our royal councils and traditional councils to speak later. We'll give you the chance.
Re tlo dumella ba bogoši gore ba tle ba bolele, e se kgale. Ra tla re ba fa sebaka.
We would like to acknowledge the leaders of the organizational parties that are with us.
Re rata go amogela maloko a mekgatlo e a tlilego.
We have the provincial secretary of the EFF fighter, George Rafella.
Re na le mongwaledi wa EFF wa province.
We have the provincial secretary of the ANC, Comrade Soviet Lekanyane.
Re na le mongwaledi wa ANC.
Thank you. We will as the political parties inform us. We introduce those that are at the provincial level. I understand that we also have the regions, the branch.
Re
But
tsebiša bao ba tšwa go province.
we introduce those that are at the provincial level. Thank you.
Re a leboga.
Thohoyandou. My name is Strike Vukela. I'm from Ward 11, the ANC branch secretary. Now, mine is very much more clear. We support the expropriation of property and land as just and equitable process to restore the dignity of the people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. So, my question is very clear, and want to have the NCOP to have an acknowledgement of this question that I'm trying to raise. Ke ra gore, when we say we support this expropriation, it means the idea as is NCOP gore ge le when the land was taken from us, there was no any other written things that were given to us. And when you, as the NCOP, when you say you will compensate the very same people that took everything from us, it will be another thing that is a process of us opening cases against the very same NCOP to say, where did you find the money to pay these people that stole land from us? So, Kinyaga, we khauletša kore e ska ba taba ya gore re bua gape re kitimišane le government gore tšhelete eo le e kry-a ka yo patela manomabe a dikwefa tše di tšereng land. So ye nngwe gape ke taba ya gore we need gore re-expropriate because of we have seen even co labor department they are under the government legal systems. It's not being supported by these people who took land from us. Because they need to open, they think that or it's a process by creating, they babuzi their own government in a government. So, the cases. So, we go straight forward. There was no any written things. Even now, my friend who's coming to come and speak year after, is only 40,000, is many hectares all around in Waterberg. It's still 1%. How am I going to have any access?
I mean, when we support this, when we say we support this, we mean we don't want you to hear you saying you don't have money while you have money to support all other shows that are going on.
Hello. Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Members of Parliament, Bahoshi present, good morning to everybody. We have very limited time, so I am going to address the Portfolio Committee only on sections 2 and 3 of Chapter 2 of the Expropriation Bill. From the onset, I just want to say, Honorable Chair, that I would like to align myself with some of the members of the EFF that came here before me. I also want to ask, what are you doing here today in 2021? Why is the landlessness of black people only addressed after 25 years? What have you done in the last 25 years to use the existing avenues available in the Constitution to expropriate land and to make it available to those who really need it? Today, it's a crisis. Landlessness is a crisis. Black people, in particular, are living on top of each other because they don't have access to land. But you waited 25 years. Now it's a crisis. Now you quickly want to amend the Constitution so that you can eradicate the mistakes that you have made. The same with Section 27 of the Constitution, Honorable Chair. Some of you come from the Eastern Cape, Gqeberha, Port Elizabeth. You are without water. But in 25 years, you have not built one single dam in this country. Are you going to wait for the water crisis and then you want to change the water sections of the Constitution as well? Honorable Chair, my problem is the powers that is given to politicians in the Expropriation Bill. My worry is that people that really need land is the landless black masses out there. But this is giving power to politicians to decide what is going to be expropriated and to who it's going to be given. We have seen with the land redistribution that have taken place to date, it is the brothers and the sisters and the comrades and the concubines and of the people in political office who decide who get land. The people that need the land are the aspiring farmers sitting in this hall and the ones out there. I am worried of the powers that you want to give a politician in this expropriation bill, and I would like to make a formal submission that we take the powers away and that we vest the powers in the judiciary, because we trust Chief Justice Mogoeng, we trust Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo and the South African judiciary, but we cannot trust politicians. Thank you very much indeed.
Let me take this.
Apologies. We had asked everyone to introduce themselves The last speaker didn't. For record purposes, please go to the mic and tell us your name. And which
Thobela.
party are you representing or organization?
My name is Johanna Abri. I'm a farmer from the Waterberg region and a member of the South African Agri Initiative.
Re kgopela hore ge batho ba itla mo ba titsebishe gore ke bona bo mang, ba tswa ba le kae, le gore ba tswa mokgatlo mofe wa politiki.
Let me take this opportunity to greet all different stakeholders from four corners of Walk of Life, all honorable members and leaders of the government. My name is Michael Mbezi, and I'm not okay. I'm not okay because of the community of black people at large persist to live in congested areas. I'm not okay because we are living in an environment where in one household live 3, if not 4 generations. We find ourselves that nkgolo le mme le ngwana ba nna ka hara ntlo ye one. And we are in the midst. We are in the midst of a pandemic where social distancing is the order of the day. I am not okay because we are a generation where the youth are subjected to sitting on top of their brains, not because of laziness of thinking, but because there is no land to execute our ideas. I'm not okay because our land is not a commodity, therefore it should not be for sale. I am not okay because land is our dignity, and currently it is in the hands of the minority, which is white people. The Expropriation Bill is unnecessary distraction. We see it as a way to hijack the real struggle of black people and will solve the challenges of the land. Therefore, we call for a thoroughly well-coordinated expropriation of all the land without compensation in the custody of the state. Aluta Conchunya. Thank you.
We found ourselves living with a mother living with her children and her children's children under the same house.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Chairperson and the entire Honorable Portfolio Committee members. My name is Ingana Mutweni from the Democratic Alliance. I'm also the Speaker in the Modimolle Mokgopo Municipality. Honorable Chairperson, when you peruse to page 2 of the document which is in our possession, it says, paragraph number 1, on top says, to provide for the expropriation of property for a public purpose or in the public interest, to provide for certain instances where expropriation with nil compensation may be appropriate in the public interest, and in provide for matters connected therewith. I want to underline the person with nil compensation. Therefore, I'm saying, as the Democratic Alliance, we are not in support to the expropriation of land without compensation, because this will mean the land will be taken to the state. People will be left without a land. And this kind of law, we've got an experience of it because we've seen it in our neighborhood countries. We've seen it in Zimbabwe. It will cause the following. It will worsen unemployment. It will collapse the agricultural sector. It will damage the economy. People will be left without land. Secondly, Chairperson, we are living in the RDP houses for a long time, and we don't have title deed. Is that what the state wants? So that we don't have title deed for the stand that we are living in it? If I want to go to the bank to request for a loan for my child, it means I won't have, it means the bank won't be able to give me that loan because I don't have security. The RDB houses doesn't belong to me because I don't have a title deed. So we are saying we support the private property ownership. We should own the land or the stand that we are living on daily basis on it. It cannot be correct that the state take all the land to the government. If I can make an example, what happens to the land reform policy? What happened to the willing buyer, willing seller policy? It means that the state doesn't have a capacity to redistribute the land. So how is it going to redistribute this land now? So we don't support this bill. We are saying, let the people be given land, let the people have the title deed of the RDP houses. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Marcel Maritz. I'm Film Fund Plus leader of Limpopo and also MPL. Yeah, I've been here this morning. I didn't prepare any speech because I normally speak out of my heart, but what I've heard this morning is quite concerning. So I will begin with this morning. As we sit here this morning, deciding who's going to take what land, of what people earned the land legally, bought the land legally. The minority people in this country are serving the majority people with food in this country, which they must just realize this morning, to take farms from white people without paying for those farms. I've been on many farms in Limpopo where the government gave it to black farmers, so-called black farmers. The houses are demolished, there's no crop on the lands, there is nothing. So to give it just to black people because they are black is ridiculous. It's putting this government, this country, in a food loss position. So we need to be clear about that. Another thing I would say is we also have to get away of this thing that they think we stole land. Many farmers are suffering as we speak to pay their bank loans because of the bad last year of COVID. But still they are providing for me and you on table. Food doesn't come if you've got a farm. You have to farm and to produce to have a farm. Not if you have a farm, sit there and just plow two rows of millies and that you only produce for yourself. That's not a farmer. So state-owned land is 17 million hectares. Must also be made available and used for land reform. Don't take farms from people that paid and feed this country. The Freedom Fund Plus don't support this bill at all, and we will stand by the farmers that will lose their land with legal actions. We will not take anybody to take a farm without paying for that farm. I thank you.
Khotso. Lebitso la ka ke nna Thapedi Sekoba. I'm the leader of my Komoretele Independent Civic Organization. I know we are here precisely because there were two main opposing views in Parliament. And I was in favor of the first view that says that the land must be expropriated without compensation. That Section 25 must be amended so that it can favor our people because one, as things stand, white people own 87% of land and blacks own only 13%. That's madness. That's why there must be a need to amend that section. And we must be very clear. We must say expropriation of land without compensation in that section so that we can do away with section 25.1, 25.2, B, and 25.3. I think if we can do that, we are going to be in a position to transform our living conditions of our people to the better. We are going to be in a position to do away with indignity, inequality, and the landlessness that we are subjected to as black people. This is very problematic because this happens precisely because Our leaders are in office, not in power. Let me tell you something. If you can take black people out of South Africa and leave whites, South Africa is going to be number 3 economically. That's the reality. It's going to be number 3 because white people oppose this because they know this is where the economy is. Jan van Riebeck, when he came into South Africa, he went for the land because he understands what is revolution. The problem is that we are apologists. Even this bill as it is not going to achieve what is intended to achieve. But we know we are pleasing the white men, we are pleasing those that owns the means of production. And we know they control you. That's why when there was 2 opposing views, you went for the one that is supported by those that owns you. That we must compromise on this and then go back. Black people said in the majority, expropriate land without compensation. That's what we said. Please, 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 black leaders, please. We are dealing with white politics and black politics. Deal with black politics. Hence I'm saying, take white blacks out of here and see what will happen. South Africa will be number 3 economically. Please think. Think. This is politics. Chris Hani died today. No one said anything about it. You know why that chap was assassinated? It's because he wanted.
Thanks very much, Chair. My name is Kuni Lamula, Speaker of Waterberg District Municipality, member of the ANC Executive Committee, Provincial Executive Committee. Chair, as the ANC, we support appropriation of land without compensation. Reason of facts being, it will enhance national building and national cohesion. The bill will intend to address all the historical injustice brought about by colonialism, apartheid, and imperialism. The bill should help us to address the resilient fault lines of inequality, poverty, and unemployment. Lastly, we should deal with the class, gender, race, and apartheid partial disparities. We support that the state should have expropriation authority. Chair, we support the spirit and the framework of the bill with this a progressive step in the socio-economic transformation of the country. At the heart of the process to develop and grow our economy to achieve inclusive growth, expropriation of land without compensation, asset our national identity. As also signed in the Freedom Charter, that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. Thank you.
I'm fine. It's unfortunate I'm too short to tell the story. My name is Gaza Shadrach Baloy. I'm from the Biking Association of South Africa, SAPAYOP. I think this, to me, it doesn't make sense at all. I just want to ask if there is any white person in this house who can tell me where is our diamond? They took it to Switzerland. Where is our gold? They've stored it in America. Where is our platinum? They're busy giving it to the platinum types. Let me ask them about it. I want to ask the white people. We are talking about the land. They take the land. They make metros. You know why? Then where a black man can build a mall. They know they can empower him. They influence the same government that we own to build an RDP. We no longer want RDPs as black people. We want those malls. And we want those malls from the white people. We want to take the land. We are not going to apologize for the land. Not now, not ever. As the Bikers of Association, we've raised it. We want the land. You like it or you don't like it. And we are not going to apologize on you. And we are not going to worship you. We want our land back. And our land back, if by Shaka, we didn't win it, when you became friends with Tigani, we'll do it with Jacob Zuma to take the land. And we want our land back. And we're not going to apologize. With PAC or with ANC or with whoever, we are coming collectively to say we want our land. You can't dominate us. We want the land. And the land, this doesn't make sense to me. You look, you ask, you have taken powers from our chiefs. You have taken powers from our indunas. They no longer dominate. We want our land. And we're not going to be apologetic with the government of the African National Congress or any government that comes in, especially if it can be the government of the DA, that way you'll see the Sangoma war will come up for our land.
Good day. I am Buitumelo Mutonyane. I'm the regional coordinator of COSATU in Waterberg. The Congress of South African Trade Unions strongly welcomes and supports the 2020 Expropriation Bill tabled by the Department of Public Works. COSATU participated in both of the bill's exhaustive and inclusive NEDLAC processes in 2013 and 2019-2020. COSATU's concerns and inputs were dealt with satisfactorily during the NEDLAC engagement. The department deserves to be commended for the open approach it took to both rounds of the negotiations in NEDLAC and for how it sought to accommodate COSATU in other constituencies' concerns. COSATU appreciates this approach from our government. COSATU supports the bill as an important legal, administrative, and political tool to further capacitate government to implement the African National Congress's electoral manifesto and historic objectives. These objectives include such key matters as eradicating the legacies of apartheid, land reform and restitution, and ensuring that the mineral wealth of the land belongs to all who live in South Africa, as eloquently articulated in the Freedom Charter. We welcome the additional provision in 2020 bill providing for the compensation and nil compensation. This is critical to addressing the iniquities of the apartheid and colonial eras, to ensuring compensation is both just and equitable, and to empowering the government to accelerate land reform and infrastructure investment as needed. The replacement of existing 1975 Act was long overdue. Expropriation is a sensitive matter, and the Act needs to reflect democratic values of the 1996 Constitution. In conclusion, the Expropriation Bill is critical and will play an important role with regards to the government's broad transformation policy. The bill and its replacement of the existing 1975 Expropriation Act is long overdue and to be welcome. The bill will help ensure the Expropriation Acts reflect the ethos and values of the democratic constitution. The recognition of the need for the objectives of land reform and related policies, and for compensation to be just and equitable is welcome. The requirement to take into account how property was acquired and how it is utilized are important.
Time up.
Yeah, thanks very much. My name is Joel Mpedi, representing the ANC. I'm a deputy secretary of Monotom branch in Ward 6. In the ANC, we are supporting the amendment of Section 25. Because in our country, majority, which is black people, are suffering today, and we have lost a dignity to white people because of land. When we speak of land, it means we speak of economy at the very same time, whereby you find that back in time when Jan van Riebeeck and the crew, when they arrived in our country, they did not use any paper to take the land from our ancestors. But today we are here to discuss what is us, what belongs to us, that was once taken away by the white people. That caused us to be affected by poverty. Our country is dominated. When we speak of economy, our economy is dominated by the white people because they own land. Firstly, as black people, we can't engage in an economical debate because we don't have investment. The land, it's a country's wealth. When we speak of the microeconomy, you find that white people are in majority, they dominate. They own mines, our local mines. They own big firms. They own our land actually. When we at the very same time when we go to speak about the macroeconomy, you find them again, they dominate in that because they took from inside. When they were in Europe, they planned that we are going to Africa to take over the wealth of black people. Today we are here discussing what belongs to us. Unfortunately, as black people, we have that a good heart to give white people a chance to consult with them on what belongs to us, our land. They made sure that they take land, they dominate the economy. It means we will forever remain the workers in our country. Yes, it is drafted, the document has been drafted back in time, but there is no implementation because some people in our country, they think they're smarter than the majority, which is white people. They even control us. They give us bribes because this should have been implemented back in time. Even the Freedom Charter says it clear that the land belongs to all of us that stays in it. But we were given a small yard to share. That's why at the end of the day,
The time is up. Thank you to all the presenters that have come in. We are in this row now. Any hand here?
Re a leboga ka moka go di buledi tšeo di buletšego. Jwale re
Okay.
mo line in Lekki.
Then we are here. Oh, start there. Our number one, and the one next to you. And this number two. Yes. Number one, number two, number three. I think we must move that side once. Two.
Ge ba fetša go šupa o ye ka kua.
Number four, number five, number six, number seven, number eight. Okay. And number 9 will be our mayor.
Number 9 ya rena e tla ba meyara.
Then after our mayor, we'll give yeah, he will be our number 10. I think the mic will come to him. Yeah. And then after number 10, we'll then allow our Amakhoshi. I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. We'll give them the chance to speak.
Ka morago wa lesome re tla fa sebaka se go kgoši.
Thohoyandou, re ke le dumedišeng ka moka ka mo ntlong e ya parlamenteng. Ke be ke dumediše boetapele ba parlamente ka go latelana bona. Ke sa lebale go dumediša boetapele ba province ya ka ba EFF bo Ntate Butane le secretary ya rena Ntate George. Ke a le dumediša boetapele ba ka. Nna mo e le nna Mosonya Semenya ke a santse ke sa belaela ebile ke kwa botlhoko. Ge batho ba borena pele ge ba lwela naga ne ba sa lwele gore batho ba kgone go nwa metsi ka mokgwanong, ne ba sa lwele gore leadership e iketle e senye tšhelete ya mmušo, ba tle ba bolle ka ntho e tee kgafetša. Re boletše ka issue expropriation of land, I think it's 2-3 times, and le ntho e sa boeletše sa e le gona. Ge ntše le sa pass this section 25 gore e kgwere expropriation of land without compensation, Basotho ka mo ntle ba soteya. As I speak today, Mener di kwa ko swa ko Waterberg o tša dikgomo tša Basotho. Imagine o tla kgaletše ba tša dikgomo tša borena ka kgang, le ante still re tshwere mmušo re sa ba dumelela ba tša dikgomo tša borena ka kgang. Rena ebile re pise re bolela le bona gore ne re kgone go tšea na botse mo bona. Bona ba kgaotše borakgolo wa rena melala, ba ba bolaile, ba tšere naga. Still, it's a issue re ne ba buša naga ya rena morago. Ke be ke kgopela government, please, try gore by all means di buše naga ya rena back. Na e ke a borena e. Ke le bona magoši bile ba sesefela gore a bana naga, a ba robale. O ya ka se a ešo ge motho ile a tlhokofala ga nyaka something, a ka se go robatše le wena ngwana gae. As a result, a re iphini ka mmušo wa rena le le re baetapele ba mmušo, mara as much as land is tšweboa mo rena, a re selo. The voice e kwagala mo South Africa ke the voice ya batho ba bašweu. Leo ka ya ko court, ba santse ba sa re win because ba se se re naga. Ke kgopela mmušo ke go frustrate this issue ya land with immediate effect. Ke kwa botlhoko ge motho montsho a bolela mo a bolela ka title deeds. I nearly cried there ke dutse ko fatshe kwa. Title deeds is nothing else. Ha rena ke title deeds rena. Re nyaka lefase. And re le nyaka today. Baetapele ba rena, you are good, you are even in numbers, or le ka kgona go change our constitution. But because le tšere ba makgowa le ba bile ka moka feletsa male bona, e ba an issue. Please change these things with immediate effect. Because ka mo ntle ka mo re tsamaya ka mo batho ba borena ba sokola. Dikgomo ba di tšea, ba tšea lefase, go na le mokgekolo o mongwe kore o bethile ke stroke, lekgowa le mokowa mo polaseng as I speak. Lekgowa le kowa mokgekolo a bethile ke stroke mo polaseng because ke Mosotho ore o mo direla mokhuku or tent. Mara yet re mo governmenteng. Still, that's natural these things several times. Ke kgopela gore as from today, baetapele ba ka, ha re khumane lefase la rena back with immediate effect. Because rena ebile re bolela ga botse ga re lwe re feng sa rena back. Nka reka jwang ntho mo wena seng go e reke. Ke ra gore if we say
Your time is up.
Greetings, you all. I greet you all, not forgetting the leader of the EFF. I feel sad that our fight for the land we have fight for today, it's not giving us what we fought for. Our forefathers, they are taking their kettles, but you're saying nothing about it. So I feel sad, and today I plead with you, saying that it's not the title deed that we want, but it's the land that we want. So today I plead with you that we want our land, that's all.
Thohoyandou, lebitso la ka ke Malesela Khwinana, ke dula ona mo Modimo Lemo, ke tswa ke le ka mo mokgatlong wa EFF ka ge le bona. Nna ke le Malesela ebile ke le moswa ke supporta expropriation of land ka he e le policy ya organization, and the reason ke rata go botsa le parlamente hore I want to dispel the myth, ya hore if South Africa expropriate land, economy ya rena e tlo wa, ya tshwana le ya Zimbabwe, because ka moka ra tseba hore Zimbabwe problem e bileng le yona ke hore ba felletse ba e betha ka di-sanction ke lebaka la hore ne e demanda se se leng sa yona, ne e demanda dignity ya batho ba bantsho le lefatshe la bona from ko makgoweng. And ebile ke rata ho hatella taba ya hore re lemo hore kana he batla ka dikepe ba le ba batjhou ba le batla ka mo South Africa ba tsene ka mo ba tsena ka masenke ba subject anyone to any commission ebile a senke ba negotiate anything ba tsene ka mo South Africa, they slaughtered, they raped, they kidnapped our land. So nagere we want back our land, and re bolela ka land re bolela ka ntho e leng hore e tlo booster economy ya rena, ya create mereko ebe ya dira hore it is going to dismantle the cornerstones of apartheid, like which is, so we really support expropriation of land. It tlo tsosa economy ya country ya rena, ya create mebereko, cause sa le ka kwa botlhoko abuti wa ka ona mophomolong mo o rile a re o federa di-studies tsa ka ko University of Pretoria. So e rile he ba dutse, so a le ka ko second year ya ha ya dira BSc in agricultural management, a white lecture wa mosadi o eme mo pela bona ka mo. Majority of the students inside the lecture hall were black people. So lecturer ya botsisa question, a very painful question ya re ka gore ke a le bona ka moka ka mo le busy le re le studies etsa agricultural management. So all of you ka mo ke mang o e leng gore papae or maloma hae or any relative wa hae o na le plaza ko e leng gore after his no qualification ya how you are going to practice there. And then a very painful reality go reng majority of black students bana ba le ka mara holo ha ona we leng gore kwa ha bona le plaza or maloma o na le plaza mo ileng gore o tla ra fetsa ka di studies tsa hae a ya yo bereka ko famong ya malome or papa wa hae a gona o tswelletsa pele passion ya hae ya agriculture. So re support expropriation of land because no, so land ya rena it's where most
Time is up.
I support this, the bill of land. If you are not supporting this, then our economy will go down. Look, for example, Zimbabwe. Look what happened to it until this day. So I remember this one time. My brother was in university, and this white lecturer asked them, because they were studying something to do with agriculture, and then asked them if they were to practice for their agriculture, does any of their relatives have a land for them where they can practice? So that's a sad reality. For me, as a young person, I say I support this because it will boost our economy and it will also create jobs.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, I'm Manaman Charles Musala, representing the economic freedom fighters in Limpopo. Chairperson, we don't understand why Parliament is spending money on this process when there is a process to amend the Constitution, and after amending the Constitution, the community must bring as legislation informed by the Constitution. We made our submission into Parliament public hearings of the land question, and we told members of the Parliament to go and amend the Constitution to allow for expropriation of all land without compensation into the custody of the state. It is certainly because in this new dispensation, which is called the New Dawn or whatever it is, there were acts that were put into power, like Minerals and Petroleum Resources Development Act, National Water Act. Why is this one so painful to change or amend in the Parliament? The Surveyor General recently illustrated that 80% of the land is in the hands of the white minority. while the black majority is congested in 13% barren land, and the remaining portion is owned and controlled by the different tiers of government. It's even worsening to hear speakers coming here and even members of the parliament speaking about the title deeds. We don't want those things. What do we do with the title deed of a land which is less than 400 square meters? That is meaningless. The ANC government is the one that is leading parliament or the state. It's in power. We always hear and see in parliament where decisions are taken, the speaker will say, let's divide the house. Why after the EFF has brought this motion to parliament, don't you just accept the motion, read and say divide the house? Because they're in majority and it seems their interest in amending this constitution. That will be one of the most worth thing to do, just to amend that thing in parliament and save us this pain of coming. We came here in 2018, we're standing here saying the same thing, expropriate land without compensation, and that the land must be in the custody of the government. Last year it happened, we are here again. We are concerned that the expropriation bill that you want us to make input on is legislation that must tell us now that the constitution allows for expropriation of land without compensation. This is how the state is going to expropriate land. This is how the land is going to be distributed to everyone equally. And this is how our right to use the land is going to be protected. But since you are here, you must know that our position remains the same. No legislation is above the constitution.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. I am Khalif Mashamaite representing our Glorious National Congress. As the African National Congress, Honorable Chair, we support the expropriation of property and land as a just and equitable process to restore the dignity of our people in addressing both access to property and land, and that expropriation of such without compensation is part of that process. For the ANC, this is about redressing historical injustices. This position is also a vital opportunity to unlock growth, redistribute assets, and promote socio-economic transformation. The ANC program provides a way to address the land question and build productive assets. Honorable Chair, as the ANC, we are guided by our 54th National Conference resolutions, which states extract are as follows. Expropriation of land without compensation should be among the key mechanisms available to government to give effect to land reform and redistribution. We submit that in line with the Constitution of the Republic and the Property Clause, the Expropriation Bill is the draft law of general application that will allow, under certain circumstances, expropriation of property and land without compensation. We support the Expropriation Bill of 2020 so as to redistribute property and land to address the centuries-old national grievances of land and property post-dispossession. We support the framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the process and procedure for expropriation of property, including land by organs of state. We support in particular Clause 2, subsection C, which allows where expropriation without compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution and in the public interest for property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. We support that the expropriating authority is the state, since this bill is about public interest and public purpose, and must determine those instances where compensation may be paid, Clause 12, subsection A, and where no compensation will be paid, Clause 12C, that this is a function of the government, not the courts. And if anyone has a grievance, they have the right to approach the courts. Courts cannot be the ones to make determination of compensation or no compensation. Honorable Chair and honorable members,
ba re tau tša tlhoka seboka di šitwa ke nare e tlotša bao ba senang seboka ba tseba gore nare e tlo ba šia ba ka se kgone go ja nama. Ke a leboga.
Honorable members, what we are saying is if we don't have unity, we shall not work together. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chair. My name is Klas Nonomabunda. I'm representing the African National Congress. Chair, the majority of the majority in this country are landless, whilst the majority of the minority are with land. To a point that we are made fools, at some stage we are made to protect animals at the expense of human beings. Chair, the African National Congress supports the just and equitable process. Hence, we're saying there should be an expropriating authority, an authority that when everything else is done and everybody's happy or not happy, there is a relief. And we need to understand that expropriation of land without compensation will bring about the much required freedom and prosperity on the black child. Our land has been expropriated, in fact, has been stolen. It has not been stolen peacefully, and it is, of course, this courtesy by the African National Congress-led government and other political parties that better understand the importance of land, that the land disposition, along with their brothers of these ones that came and stole livestock and ensured that they indignify a human being, have gained expression for quite some time. And as the African National Congress, we feel that if we are to misinterpret the importance of class or an importance of belonging into a class whilst living in a class society, we're going to have a situation where we'll point fingers and some will want to reduce this as a mere a national issue. No, we want our land, and this land of ours, we would use it importantly as others would feel that they're using it. You'd see Provincial Secretary Lekhanyan, who are disrespected as land workers. When there is a board that is, I think, funded by Solidarity or AfriForum, it says, "Have you eaten today?" They write in bold, "Thank the farmer," and in small letters, "and the farm worker." Whilst without the farm worker, the farmer wouldn't strive. And this farm worker, a black person, has got all necessary capacity and capabilities to work the land and must share in the proceeds and the values of the land that which we exist in. We support land expropriation without compensation and will come for our land. If you continue with this delay, we'll keep coming and will.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My name is David Makafula. I'm a member of both the African National Congress and the South African. I want to start by requesting all of you to remember Chris Hani. And you must invest your time and go research his view about land. If you do not know, I must tell you, he remained very unapologetic that land must be returned to its original owners. And the original owners of the land are the black majority of this country. All of you will know the historical injustices that happened in this country. That history is well captured, Chair. And this process here provides all of you with an opportunity to redress. The question of land for the black people of this country is a question of dignity. Their dignity was taken away from them. And our appreciation of this process is because we believe that it is aimed at ensuring that black people in this country, the poorest of the poor, get their dignity back. Having said that, Chair, everybody here spoke about the need for us to have this land back. But as it relates to this bill, The first thing that we are saying is that we support the Expropriation Bill 2020 for simple reason. And that reason is that it will provide us with an opportunity to redistribute both the property and the land. We also understand, Chair, and we are not surprised that grandchildren of the beneficiaries of these injustices that happened in this country will never be comfortable with this process. As they remain uncomfortable, we remain comfortable because we want the land to be brought back to us because we are the original owners. I don't want to say you stole it, but of course you did. We support the framework, Chair, that is contained in the bill that aims at guiding this particular process. The bill is clear that this particular process will be guided, and the framework as contained by the bill will be able to guide that particular process. We actually support that particular framework. Chair, we also support all the clauses in this bill that talks about expropriation without compensation. But we must emphasize that that particular expropriation without compensation should be a just and a very equitable process. But expropriation must happen. We support it, Chair, that expropriation must happen. We also acknowledge that the only person who's got the interest of the public at heart is the state. It is therefore contained in this bill that an expropriating authority should be the state, and that, Chair, it is also being supported. We also support, and we don't agree with the view that somebody here raised, but we also support that the powers of the minister in the bill, as contained in the bill, we also support them. It is our view, Chair.
Your time is up.
Thanks, Chairperson. Ke a leboga modulasetulo. Ke bonang ka moka rena. I'm Jacob Moabelo, Waterberg RS, General Secretary. We as the ANC, we support the bill. Arwele morago. If you can now go out, look from here to Lepalale, you can check when you drive here, it is only few black people who owns the land. Only the black people were only taken out from the farm in order to put it in an area, small area like Mudumulemokopong. We are really supporting that bill as the ANC, that the bill of 2020 SOS redistributed property, land, and address the century-old national grievances of land property, forced disposition. We support the framework in the bill in line with the Constitution to guide the process and procedure for expropriation of property, including land by organs of the states. We support the particular clause 12C, which allows where the person without a compensation may be just and equitable in terms of the Constitution, and in the public interest for property and land earmarked for socio-economic reform and redistribution. We support the bill in the states, since the bill is about public interest and public purpose and must determine those instances where the compensation may be paid. If you can check clause 12A, and where no compensation will be paid, clause 12C. That is the function of the government, not the courts. And if anyone has grievances, they have the right to approach the courts. Courts cannot be ones to make the determination of compensation. Comrades, if you can check, our kettles, but the wise people, I want to we need the land back as a matter of agency. Thanks, Chair.
As black people, we live in a small land and our cattle are dying, unlike the white people.
Ndo livhuwa Chairperson. Ya ndima kwarela Mundalamu. Ndo rumiwa nga va Waterberg region va civic organization. Reneva civic riko supporta hoi memorandum. And musi ri tshi supporta uri va dzhie maga a u ita uri zwine zwa ambiwa i songo tou vha chorus.
Ndi kale ri tshi khou ḓi imbelela from 1994 ri tshi ri maivuye Afrika, maivuye. Mara up so far a ya thu vhuya. Ngauri vha kha ḓi tshila nga hetshiḽa tshipiḓa tshine tsha vha uri vha tshila vha tshi ri mukhuwa ndi mushonga. And rine nga rine a ri fulufheli uri mukhuwa ndi mushonga kha rine. U bva murahu hangeni ro vha ri na masimu ri tshi lima, ri tshi ḽa mavhele zwavhuḓi ri sina vhuthada. Zwa zwino ri na vhathu vhane vha vhori vha vhidziwa upfhi small farmers. Hava vhathu a vha khou fhiwa sapoto zwi tshi bva kha phalamennde, a vha khou fhiwa sapoto ngari a vha fhiwi tshithu. Makhuwa hangei murahu vha vha tshi thusana kha dzi small farmers, vha tshi sapotana hu tshi vha na zwithu zwine zwa khou itiwa. Zwa zwino vha tou bva vha sedza nga hafhanoni ri na dzi squatters nnzhi dzo dzulaho hafhaḽani vha khou ṱhoga madzulo. From 1994 up today ndi tshi vhala nga miṅwaha ndi 27. Zwi amba zwori arali ndi na vhana vha 10 nga ngomu dzharaṱani yanga ine nda dzula khayo, avha vhana vho i wana gai shango line vha tea uri vho dzula khalo? Zwino ra ri khou ri kha haya mafhungo kha ri lugise, ri litshe u imbelela. Nga nḓila heyo ine nda khou amba ngayo ndi khou amba ndi tshi ri kha ri sapotane, ri bvisele vhathu khagala. Ri songo tsha dovha ra vhuya ngauri hu khou vhuyiwa lwa vhuvhili. Ri songo tsha dovha ra vhuya kha u vhudzulo ri tshi khou amba nga u vhuisa shango. Shango kha ḽi vhuye kha riṋe ma-Afrika. Maivuye Afrika, maivuye.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Makwarela Mundalamo. I'm representing Sanko in the Waterberg region. I'm here, or as Sanko, we support the bill, but we need to register the following points. We are saying that the implementation must happen as in yesterday. And also, government needs to address the issue of farmers that own a huge portion of land, whereas the natives are still landless. We were promised in 1994 a better life for all, but such is still a dream, as it has not yet happened. Our government that we love so much must not come to us with empty promises. They need to issue title deeds to our people. If you can look just around the corner, we are staying in crowded shacks because people do not have the land to build on. Back in the days, small farmers, especially white people, they used to support each other. But if you can look today, our own small farmers are not being supported by government. So we are saying to you, we must not be called back here to come and discuss about this, as we need the implementation now. Thank you so much.
My name is Marlene van Staden, and I'm the DA Mayor of the Modimolle-Mokopong local municipality. And I honestly would like to say, I believe that if these amendments are promulgated, it will not resolve the current land reform crisis in South Africa. I believe that. One of the reasons why I say so is that if I look at the Act, I do not think that the descriptions for property, public interest, or public purpose is actually sufficiently defined. And I think if those are sufficiently defined, it will definitely assist to help us to look at what the Act can really do. The second thing is I would like to reject Section 2.2. The reason for that is because that section allows government to choose if they would like to expropriate or not, but it therefore excludes a private owner to make a choice if they would like to expropriate land or not. The next sections I would specifically like to reject in the Act is Section 12, subsection 3. And the reason for that is because it says that it may be just and equitable for no compensation to be paid where land is expropriated in the public interest, which we already know is not defined properly. Having regard to all relevant circumstances, including but not limited to. Now, it's the not limited to that really bothers me the most, So there's actually no knowing what other circumstances can possibly be added at a later stage to this act. Regarding section 12, subsection 3, number A, it is referred to where the land is not being used and the owner's main purpose is not to develop. That section will specifically make sure that investors would not be happy to invest in South Africa anymore, because that will scare them completely, because having an empty piece of land that they might be thinking of will actually be too uncomfortable for South Africa. Regarding section 12, subsection 3, number C, notwithstanding the registration of ownership, where an owner has abandoned the land by failing to exercise control over it, it really increase land grabs in South Africa. Thank you very much. That will be my submission.
My name is Zex Mwelezi. I think the leadership of the ANC senior leaders, they've said mouthful. I don't want to spoil that. Everybody fear that we want our land back. You can read all subsections the way we've been programmed, but we are wasting time. The majority must take decision and get that land back. Thankfully, the mayor of Modimolle, I know Modimolle's Nelson Hafanganes, so somebody said, talk earlier about the farmers. If you go to the farmers, who are the people that are producing in the farmers? It's black people. White farmers are only getting money, writing receipt. So we can do our work. So time is long overdue, PS. I just want to say that all we know, and the majority have taken decision. When he was elected second time, he said people are smoking. Don't go to parliament and waste time. We want our land back. Yes. Don't waste time, because people will become impatient later on, and will not have time to do what people copy. They've been programmed. You talk about Zimbabwe, you've never been in Zimbabwe. You don't know, you don't even know red meat in South Africa. Supply number 1, national, is Zimbabwe. But you talk about Zimbabwe because you've been programmed. Because you are programmed. Especially our people, I'm jealous about black people. From Gauteng or from Eastern Cape, if you drive, you see the runaway lines. We are divided in terms of the runaway lines. If you drive, you are lost, you jump the runaway lines, you must know you are going to the township, up to Messina. But today you are talking as if you don't know where I come from. I just want to appeal. Warriors coming back home. All of you coming back home. And I thank for DA by showing us that you don't care about the black people, about land. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to demonstrate that you want to see us black people remaining in a small stance and in the RDP stance, and you want to control the wealth of the country by being farmers there. So thank you for that. And I think the voters are also aware for that, Desiree. Thank you very much. But black people, I'm jealous. Most of you, go back to your organization. Take the struggle forward.
And that is why I'm able to speak this way.
Leboge modulasetulo sebaka se ke se fumanang se, ke se tšee gape sebaka se ke dumediša banka ka nna magoši a Waterberg ba e le gore ke na le maatla ka bona ga ke eme mo. Dumediše tafola ka moka, ke tlhomphe mekgatlo ka moka e leng mo bana ge re le ka mošate ge re le mo nageng mekgatlo ka moka ke bana ba ka mošate mošate o ba lebelela ka leihlo le le tshwanang mokgatlo o bušang opposition party o mokgatlo o leng gona mo nageng ka moka ge re lebelela ka mošate le bana ba ka mošate le a lekana ka gore yalo ke re a ke lotšhe setšhaba se ka moka ke re thobela se ke se emetšeng mo se segolo modulasetulo ka no ba mohlomongwe ke sa tshwane le diboledi tše dintšhi tše di boletšeng empa ke sa bolela ka naga gobane ke yona e re tlišitšeng mo ke yona e le yona e amegang ka gare ga pampiri e leng mo pele a setšhaba ka gore yalo ke sello se sentšhi se se tswelang go tšwa ka magošing go ka leihlo le mmušo tšatši le lengwe re reng o lebelela bogoši ka lona go na le dinaga tše magoši a di claimileng go tloga gona kwa morago ka nako e go tshepišwa gore a re claimeng dinaga tša gabo rena go claimilwe go jwale tše dingwe di boile tše dingwe a sotšwe di boe empa ke potšišo ye magoši a nang le yona gobane ke bona ba etileng ditšhaba tša bona pele ditšhaba tša bona di ba botšiša dipotšišo gorena ba mošate go diega eng naga ya gabo rena e kae naga ya gabo rena ba reng ka yona ke mo e leng gore le rena re tlhoka dikarabo rena mmušo dikarabo di kae tša naga tša gabo rena o lebelela mo dinageng tše re dutšeng go tšona a mohlaka sebaka se re leng ka gare ga bolwetši bo bo bokaka bo dilo tše dintšhi di eme ikonomi ya naga e eme mo ditšhabeng ka borena le rena ga re na le dikgoba tša go dia se sengwe se se ka tsoša le go fa bana ba rena mebereko mo nageng tša rena ga gona dikgala re dutše le dikgomo batho ga ba kgone go kry-a mo ba ka lemang gona gobane mamotlha go pitagane thari ya tee dinaga re di claimile di dutše ga re tsebo rena go fitlha mamotlha re tlo di kry-a neng se sengwe gape se ke ratang go se bontšha go modulasetulo ga e le ko palamenteng go dinaga tše dingwe tše di bušitšweng di bušeditšweng ditšhaba ke dumela gore dinaga tše di a fapana ka dikgopelo tša tšona tše dingwe di claimiwa go tšwa ka mošate gobane batho ba ba tlošitšwe ba na le mošate mo ba dutše gona go na le ba bangwe ba ituletše gona mola mohlomongwe ke mo ba bereka bona gona ba dula mengwaga e mentšintši ba boloka ba gabo bona mola mara ge re lebelela tše di tšwang di kgopelwa ke mošate ko mmušong gore re kgopela go bušetšwa naga ya gabo rena gobane ka pušo ya gabo nna ke mohlagaseteng
Please round up, Khoshi.
okay ke a leboga modulasetulo go le bjale ke re be ke nyaka go bontšha ke feleletša gore go tšona tše di claimileng ke mešate ba claimela ditšhaba tša bona go na le se sengwe se se dirang di re naga tše ge di boela mo bathong di boya ka lebitso la batho ga di sa boya ka lebitso di šupa gore maikarabelo a ko mošate mola naga ela go tlogilwe ka mošate mola le setšhaba ka moka ge bo reka ko ba dutšeng gona mamona ge e boya in the form of CPA mo e leng gore ka gare ga title deed ga gona mo e laetšang gore mošate o na le maikarabelo mola gobane e a boya e a bontšhe e bolela ka sona tšhaba sela sa gago se e leng gore ke naga ke ya gabo bona e bošitše so then in that case go ra gore mmušo o lweša mošate le bana ba gago ka baka la gore taolo ye e leng mola ba lebeletše taolo ya bona ba na go direga eng ge e le balo re kgopela gore e lebeleleng ge e le balo
Ke a leboga. Khoshi.
Ke rata go leboga chairperson le batho ka moka ba Waterberg. Ke re ka moka batho ba
You're supposed to interpret to us in English.
Thank you, Chair, and also the people of Waterberg. as all of us are equal, so I greet you all. What I want to say, it might even sound the same as what people have said. So the big issue here, it's about the land. As the traditional leaders, our people are asking, where is our land? As now we are in this pandemic, there is no space. We are all crowded. As we ask, they ask us as traditional leaders, what's happening? What, they want us to elaborate about the land, which we don't have answers because the parliament is failing us. We want, as you return the land, we want the land to be returned with people's names, not just the title deed. So this is our main concern because it makes the traditional leaders look bad as people are crying and asking us questions. So please do well for us so that we can do well to our people.
I'm not sure whether the Khoshi would like to say. I would like firstly to sincerely apologize
Sa mathomo ke rata go kgopela tshwarelo
for the interpretation.
go ditole ke go ba go bofetoledi ba rena.
I may not know Sipedi,
Nka be ke sa tsebe Sepedi,
but I heard Khoshi speak about land.
empa ke kwele kgoši a bolela ka lefase.
I heard.
Ke mo kwele.
And even other speakers before him,
Le ba bangwe ba ba fetilego,
or they would speak something and the interpretation would be something else.
ba bolela se sengwe empa bofetoledi ba gone e ba se sengwe.
Many from the audience have written notes to us
Ba bangwe ba go tšwa go lena, ba re ngwaletše mangwalwana,
indicating that what is being interpreted is not what is being said.
ya gore seo se bolelwago, seo se tolokilwego ba seo se fetoletšego, ga se seo se boletšwego.
I am then appealing to you, Ms. Martinez,
Ka gona ke rata go tliša sello se ke go lena,
the leader, our committee secretary,
go mongwaledi wa komiti ya rena,
and the leader of our support team,
le baetapele ba go re thekga,
that when you will be listening to all the recordings,
ge le iša dikgatišo ka moka,
please ensure that you bring parliamentary interpreters
le tliša bafetoledi go tšwa go parlamenteng,
in all that was said here,
go tšeo di boletšego ka moka,
so that we get exactly what has been said.
gore re hwetše seo se boletšego ka mokgwa wa maleba.
And I will also try to write to the parliament
Ka gona ke tla leka go ngwalela parlamenteng,
as the chairperson of this portfolio committee
bjalo ka modulasetulo wa portfolio yeki, komiti ya portfolio yeki,
and raise my concerns and disappointment
go ntšha dingongorega tša ka le go swaba ga ka,
on how the interpretation has been done.
ka mokgwa o bofetoledi bo dirilwego ka gona.
This started yesterday.
Se se thomile maabane.
Provincial Secretary, Comrade
Mongwaledi wa
Soviet,
province,
and Chairperson Fighter Butana
le Fighter Butan,
were with us in Zanin,
e be ba na le rena Tzaneen.
and this thing happened.
Se ke se diregetše.
So I sincerely apologize to all those that are here
Ka gona ke tloga ke kgopela tshwarelo go bao ba lego moki,
who have been subjected to what has happened.
go bao ba diregetšego ke mathata a ke.
Thank you.
Ke a le leboga.
We are now at the end of our program.
Ka gona re fitlhile mafelelong a lenaneo la rena,
We have received your views,
re kwele dipono tša lena,
those that are in support,
tšeo bao ba thekgago,
those that do not support,
le bao ba sa thekgigo,
those that are saying we must start with amendment of section 25,
bao ba re thomego ka amendment ya section ya bohlano, karolo ya bohlano,
all have been recorded.
tšeo ka moka di gatišitšwe.
As the portfolio committee,
Bjalo ka komiti ya portfolio,
after we are through with all the public hearings,
ka ge re feditše ka di hearing tše ka moka,
we will sit down,
re tla dula fase,
consolidate the report from the written submissions,
ra ngwala report
The-
ya tšeo di tlišitšweng go rena,
the oral submissions,
tšeo di buletšwego ka
And the-
mokgwa wa go di tliša go rena,
and the report from all public hearings,
le di report ka moka go tšwa go di hearing tša setšhaba.
and discuss as the committee
Re boledišane bjalo ka komiti
on what we'll present to Parliament.
gore re tlo di fihliša jwang go palamente.
Everything that has been said here
Ye nngwe le ye nngwe e buletšwego moki
has been recorded.
e gatišitšwe.
We also taking some notes,
Ka gona re tšea le di-notes
especially when we hear something new.
kudu ge re kwa se sempša.
We really appreciate your presence
Ka gona re tloga re leboga go ba ga lena moki,
from Amakhoshietu,
go tloga go dikgoši tša rena,
the leaders of the political parties here,
le go baetapele ba dipolotiki,
the leadership of the municipality,
ketapele ya masepala,
and acknowledging the presence of the Speaker of the Waterberg District Municipality,
le go leboga seboledi sa Waterberg,
the leaders of civil organization,
diboledi tša civil tša ya organization ya rena ya ditokelo tša botho,
organized labor,
le bao ba tša mošomo, baemedi ba tša mošomo.
we are taking all your presentations seriously.
Re tloga re leboga kudu go ba ga lena moki.
Ke a leboga,
Yeah, thank you very much.
siyabonga. Tomorrow we will be in Pulukwana,
Go sasa re tlo ba re le Polokwane,
Jake Potter's
Jack
Hall,
Waters Hall.
or Jake Potter's Hall. We will be there. Those that can join us, they must join us.
Bao ba
Eh,
nyakang go ba le rena, a ba be le rena.
But please ensure that we recognize and abide with health protocols.
Ka gona a re tleng empša re lemogeng melao ya rena ya
COVID-19
ya
is still there,
COVID-19, le gore COVID-19 e sa le gona.
and we know that it's only the health workers that are being vaccinated now.
Re tseba gape le gore ke ba tša maphelo bao e leng gore ba fiwa vaccination.
When it will be the time for all of us to do vaccinate, we will do so.
Ge e le nako ya rena ya go fiwa vaccination, go tla diriwa jwalo.
Thank you again.
Ke le leboga gape.
Ke a leboga.
Thank you.